In this huge wide world, there are so many of those places that you must have seen. Some of them may seem to you as beautiful, some not really worth of spending time at, and some may be also the one which you will be remembering till that last breath of yours. But among all of your journeys so far, have you ever been to the place which may have that something weird or mysterious or bizarre about it? Maybe you have, or maybe you haven't. What do you think make these places considered as mysterious anyways? According to many of those definitions out there, it is being said that when people are not able to understand anything properly, like about how or why is it happening, they have that nature to consider it as weird or mysterious, which anyhow makes that thing a special one from those other ones. Now the question that comes up over here is, have scientists not even tried to give it a shot and find out about what is the logic and reason behind all such happenings? Well, the answer could be, maybe they tried and failed, or maybe they tried and know the reason, and it could also be something like, maybe they haven't tried it. Endless possibilities to the question. Sometimes it is okay to not look over everything as so much logically and only enjoy the sceneries, and this is what goes with all of these places that you will get to read in some of these chapters discussed below. First in list, Mount Roraima. Starting over with the list of those weird and mysterious places, this is what counts as first, Mount Roraima, the place which is also known by the name of Tepui Roraima or Cerro Roraima, and lies at the highest point of Pacraima chain of Tepui Plateau, situated in Venezuela's Canaima National Park, South America. This place is believed to be 14 kilometers long and 2,810 meters tall to the heights, surrounded with those 400-meter cliffs all around. Mount Roraima is mostly the sandstone area with not more than some bushes on the name of vegetation up there. The plants which can easily be found there includes pitcher plant, bellflower and Ropatia heather. Also, going over to that deep information, this mountain is said to be situated on the border of Guyana, Venezuela and Brazil, among which Venezuela contains that 75% of this mountain. Guyana already has that high landform considered as Tepui, which is also known as Tabletop Mountain, and thus Brazil and Venezuela have much higher landmarks in the form of this mountain. This site also is said to experience that heavy amount of rainfall, which due to its plain surface leads to those numbers of waterfalls that are popping up from different locations of plateau. Angel Falls is also one such waterfall, which is well known by many people around due to its great height of approximately 130 miles. Thinking about who described this formation of mounting so amazingly, well, there are many, among which two of the well-known are Sir Walter Raleigh and Everard Thurn. Sir Walter Raleigh was the first one to explore this place in 1596 while his visit to Guyana in search of that fabulous and well-known golden city of El Dorado. But as there was no proper path to the summit, so which made him to get failed in climbing over the mountain, and then in 1884 this mountain was first climbed up by Everard Thurn, who managed this trek by going through the trail, as though there are many more other ways to make this trek work, but it is important for one to have that proper experience in rock climbing for making them work, so basically, trail is that easiest method to climb through this mountain. Whole of this summit is believed to measure at least 31 square kilometers, and also is said to usually covered up with fog, where one can find black rocks, gorges, wildflower garden and variety of pools in the way of peak. The one who has already been to this place says that this mountain had that implication to the Piman Indians. Also it has been part of many of those myths and legends that passed away with years. Also, this mountain was once considered as that enormous tree which used to have that great amount of fruits and vegetables by people who have been there. In native language of Piman, the name of this mountain is actually named as Blue-Green Great, in which Roroi means blue-green, and Ma means great. This mountain, like many others in Roraima National Park, is considered as one of the oldest geographical formations in this earth, which may be here since billions of years ago. The people tend to visit here during dry seasons, such as December to April, but in case if someone wants to visit this place, it is suitable in any season, as even that so-called dry season is not so dry, as season changes within a second, and so which brings upon the fog and rain, you can say it is all about luck. One should also know that to get here, at the Mount Roraima, there is a path which is a bit complicated and difficult, but as one reach here, it can seem as totally worth of taking all the troubles. So to get here, one must first take a flight to Santa Elena da Iron Airport, which is not at all possible through those flights which travel major cities, and so that means one would need to take a transfer flight from the place. This airport is located somewhere in Brazil, moving forward, to which one may need to take up a bus or can to get transferred to the Piedmont village, the place where the journey actually gets to begin. It is okay to hire a Piedmont guide from the same place so as to have that proper guidance all through the way, though there are those proper marks of where the way actually goes, but still, as one reaches over that top point, they get lost due to clouds over at the top, and so if one takes over a guide, there will be nothing to worry about at least. Also, one should totally note that while hiking over this mountain, it is not at all allowed to chuck any of the flowers and leaves, as this is against the law, being this mountain the part of Roraima National Park. Fly Geyser. Now, moving on with a list of some mysterious places that are present there in the outside world, second name which comes over here is Fly Geyser, which is itself as much unique as its name. Fly Geyser, which is also known to people by the name of Fly Ranch Geyser, is said to be located in Washoe County, Nevada, boasting out those long and tall falls of hot water. Also, there is one other location which can make people know easily about its whereabouts, and that is it's been located near the edge of Fly Reservoir in Hualapai Geothermal Flats. This Fly Ranch Geyser is approximately 5 feet high and 12 feet wide, with the area it has been covering sitting over at the place. Thinking about how this thing even came into existence. Well, it is said that in 1916 a well had been drilled which has been used for 45 years, and then suddenly it started shooting out hot water out of it, due to which the dissolved salts in water got built up into those big and giant colourful hills from which you can always find water rushing out, which generally jumps out like 5 feet higher. Also, it is to be noticed here that this is not that tourist spot for now, and maybe never will be. No one is actually allowed to be there, which makes this place more mysterious to people around. There are in real 2 of such geysers. The other one is believed to be built up by people around 100 years ago, so as to use it for making up the desert come into some use, such as at least people can use it for farming. But in this practice, when a well was drilled, it got heat up to the geothermal boiling water, which is not at all suitable for farming, and so it got left alone, forming that 10 to 12 foot long calcium carbonate cone. Then, moving over, in 1964, this well was drilled again by a geothermal company on that same spot, and what they found was that same water of 200 degrees, which was not at all for their use, and so they decided to get it resealed. But now, it was not really ready for this, and so nothing worked out in getting it sealed, which as a result came up with the huge pressure of water, and now, well cone is dry. The 2 Bs. Now, it is time to move on with something new on the list, and as the title says, here you are going to learn about the 2 Bs. But first, to make this discussion clear to you, there is no place like 2 Bs. These 2 words actually signify the Blood Falls and Bermuda Triangle. Yes, which actually lies among those mysterious things and is already known to many people around. So, walking over the Bermuda Triangle first, this is the thing without which every topic about mysteries is totally incomplete, and which is also famous by the name of Devil's Triangle. To talk over this properly, this is one of those regions, actually this is the only region in the Atlantic Ocean bounded between Miami, Bermuda and Puerto Rico, where a number of ships and aircrafts are believed to be disappeared, and that too in one of those mysterious ways. And obviously, with such happenings, there are always some of those conspiracies coming up which provides you so many reasons of such happenings. There are many people who believe that there is something like aliens and monsters over there which take these ships away, and on the other hand, there are also some people who believe to it as a mystery which is meant not to get solved easily. There are many of such incidents which took place at this place of devil, such as the one in which pilots of group of US Navy bombers became confused while flying over the particular area, and then these planes were never really found. If you are thinking that this may be happening for some bad weather conditions, well, there is nothing like that, as such tragedies also took place when there was that good pretty weather out there. Also, according to many of the theories derived on this thing, it is found that these incidents take place only at this location of Bermuda Triangle, and not anywhere else in the whole complete ocean. This triangle is believed to be covering over that 500,000 square miles of ocean of southeastern tip of Florida. The phrase Bermuda Triangle was first been actually introduced in 1964, and since that time this word is being attracting more and more people towards the mystery to know about what actually is wrong with this place. It has also been said that if one goes into those deep explanations, then what they will find is that there is nothing really mysterious about the place, and maybe it is all about changes in nature, which specifically provides that explanation on that disappearance of people that had taken place till date. But this is not like there is nothing to claim upon for those who have been in this tragedy, as according to some of the researches made up by scientists, there are some bizarre formations down there which can be the sole reason behind all this. Bermuda Triangle, by some people, is also considered as that imaginary area which has its no significance in this world, and thus due to what there is not any of that official file maintained out there for same. Have you ever thought, why did it actually came up with a name like that? Well, it is said that this place is named after its Bermuda apex, as before this it was known by the name of Isle of Devils. It is said that over the time of 100 years, there are 1,000 of lives and 100 of airplanes and ships that are being lost here, and thus being the dead end for people. Many of people are still looking up for what are the numbers which can be counted over to describe the loss of lives here, and same can be found in the reports of Mary Margaret Fuller, the editor of Fate magazine, who in 1975 approached Lloyd's of London to find over the estimate on same, according to which 448 vessels were considered as missing throughout the world in the time period of 1955 to 1975, and also there were nowhere these incidents happened to be found than in this tragedy. But there are also some people who considered this report as wrong, among which the one was J. Quasar. He is the creator of Into the Bermuda Triangle, pursuing the truth behind the world's greatest mystery. According to Quasar, Lloyd's in its reports have not mentioned about those small crafts that include yachts, small charter boats or private aircrafts, and so these reports by him cannot be considered as that only source if what the reports are finally. Even the Coast Guard records doesn't include those missing vessels. So, as a result, he requested over for the data, and after 12 years which he finally got the report in which 300 missing or overdue vessels were being mentioned from last 2 years. This mystery about Bermuda Triangle first came into light where 5 of the Navy Avengers got surprisingly disappeared in 1945, firstly which was considered as the cause of mistake made by a pilot, but then changed the reasons unknown. After that, it got up its space when there were more of such incidents which reported about how people got disappeared mysteriously between the regions of Florida coast and Bermuda, and then 2 years later it was featured in magazine by George X, who wrote an article titled "Sea Mystery at Our Back Door," which told about how a number of ships and aircrafts got disappeared in this area of ocean. And then, as more of the incidents happened, it came more eyeballs to it, and thus, in 1964, Argosy magazine gave this region a name of the deadly Bermuda Triangle. There is that long list of airplanes and ships maintained in the file if you look up for the sites that features Bermuda Triangle, among which many are also those which are nowhere near this triangle when the tragedy took an action on them, such as May Celeste that was found floating in 1872, and that too with things as properly as it was before people left from the ship. Now, walking over that another B and talking about its mystery, to tell you this B actually indicates bloodfall, which may be or may not be known by everyone out there. Hearing over this term for first time make people think that this is some fall which is pushing out only the blood, but there is something different about the concept. This is actually a flow of water which is emerging from a crack of Taylor Glacier in McMurdo Dry valleys of Antarctica. This amazing thing was first revealed in 1911 by Griffith Taylor, the well-known geologist, and at that time the reason for this was though as being algae a cause of all this. But moving forward, later it was found to be due to an iron-rich underground saltwater lake that was trapped by the glacier for 1.5 million years ago. Although the temperature of this water is somewhere near to -5 degrees Celsius, but there is no point of freezing as this is too much salty to be frozen. Well, this secret doesn't really end here, as there are some other things which this blood fall is trapping beneath, and that is the entire ecosystem of bacterias. Yes, this fall is home to whole of the ecosystem which is being studied by many of the scientists from Harvard University. Discussing over which it is believed that it is about 2 million years ago when this glacier holded up this small body of water which had in it the community of microbes, and thus without any of the light or free oxygen they started to live as per the conditions of environment besides them. Anyhow, this existence of blood falls and life inside it shows how life can even be found in such conditions which are not at all common like any other living being actually needs. Also, this fascinating and amazing fact, which was being engrossed somewhere inside the Earth, will make scientists search on what are the worst conditions in which a life can actually exist on this Earth, or in various places, such as Mars or Jupiter, which has moon, all covered with ice on all of its side. The 2 M's. Moving over to the next one in list, the 2 M's, which like those B's discussed above, signifies 2 different names and entirely different places on this planet that are truly mysterious and weird to have a look upon. So, talking over this, first M here stands for Moiraki Boulders, while the other one stands for Magnetic Hills. Now, if you know Moiraki, you must have heard about his boulders thing, as it is actually now famous for these, and most of people come here to have a look on these boulders. So what these Moiraki boulders actually are? Well, this is nothing so much a big thing, but yes, it is totally worth of being discussed about. These are actually the group of really giant spherical stones that can be seen on Koikohe Beach near Moriaki, that is situated in New Zealand's Otago coast. They are actually considered as that most attractive and popular thing which make people get to the place and thus have a look on same. It is believed that they are the result of shoreline erosion from coastal cliffs. Also, they are known by the name of concretions. It is also said that this is about 60 million years ago when they actually started forming. If you Google about them and their formations, what would be the thing to be noticed here is that these giant stones are extremely 3 meters in diameter and actually weigh so much tons that are obviously difficult to lift up in some easy manner, and also how can we forget that they are grey in colour. It is also been said by Maori legends that these stones are the remains of calabashes, kumaras and eel baskets. This site is considered as one of the most popular spots for photographers, and obviously no one really need a reason for saying. Are you also looking up for photography? Well, it is important that you know the best time for same, which can get best pictures clicked, and that is mostly the early morning or late afternoon, as at the moment soft sunlight casts across the rocks, making the view elegant and thus worth of being captured over for best of the photographs. Moreover, aside of this sunlight, one can also come over at the time of storms, as it is being said that there could not be any other place in New Zealand, or consider it as on Earth, that could look as much beautiful as this beach, making that awesome and amazing view for people around. So if you're planning to visit this place, then do make sure that you hold up your camera with you so as to take best pictures captured and show your talent to people around. Maybe you will get some new of your talents emerged over here. Now, walking over the location that exists next in list, the Magnetic Hill, which is said to be situated in 2 different locations, among which one is Leh, India, and other is Moncton, Brunswick. What actually this Magnetic Hill is up to? To describe this, let's take a situation in which you are going over some hill, and while climbing over the top, you find your car rolling the way it should be while going down. Can you think of your reaction anyways? Well, obviously, it may look a bit scar or weird or something which is not at all common. Obviously, this sounds totally strange and not applicable, as it is not at all possible. But when you come over at this magnetic hill, all of your theories will fall down, as your car would roll over the hill while going in upward direction. Yes, Magnetic Hill, which is also known by the name of Gravity Hill, is said to have those magnetic properties which can make a car push uphill so much easily, and also if any aircraft passes through this region, then they have to increase the altitude so as to avoid the magnetic interference. Stunned or amazed? Well, both are possible when you get to listen such out of imagination things. One should totally visit this place at least once. To provide the exact location, this is situated on the Leh-Kargil-Baltic National Highway, which is about 30 kilometers from Leh and is situated 14,000 feet above of the sea level, and also is said to be surrounded by the Sindhu River. Moreover, along with this hill, there is one more thing which is attracting people to have a look over the site, and that is this Gurudwara, which is being made and maintained near this hill by an Indian army, and this Gurudwara is actually believed to be the one when Guru Nanak Dev, i.e. the first Guru among those 10 Gurus of Sikhs, meditated in some late 15th century. And as you know, with every such mystery comes up some of the conspiracies from different people, and same is the case with this one. As you ask people living nearby, there are a number of stories that you will get to listen, such as some of the people, villagers especially, will tell you about the path which existed there once and used to lead people to heaven, and also which doesn't end on this one only. According to him, this track was only used to track those which were deserving ones, and not those who are undeserving, no matter how hard they try for the same. Well, basically, you can say that whole of this concept actually is supernatural for them, and which can be actually accepted by some of the folks, while some just take it as some story. But to make you know, it is real, actually real. Now the question that here comes up is, if it is not something supernatural or magical, then what it actually is. Well, this is nothing but a concept of optical illusion where you are being played, your mind is being played, and your eyes are being played by a hill, by the way. Optical illusion, in its proper definition, is known as the concept by which one person can see the things which are not actually there, or might see the things happening somehow in different ways than they actually exist, and so is the case with this hill. This is actually the downwards hill, which appears like an upwards one. Discussing why do it actually appears that way, the reason can be the clogged horizon. But anyhow, this place is worth of making a visit at least once, and obviously without missing a magnetic hill, this is not a daily thing that you get to see such mysteries happening here on the earth. Have you heard about these? Now, moving over to the other mysterious places, here are some which may leave you more in shock and excitement. Starting over with rich at structure, some of you must be already knowing about this unique eye-like structure that is featured in Sahara Desert of Mauritania near Qadain. This circular structure at this place is also known to many people by the name of Eye of Sahara or Blue Eye of Africa. What this actually is? Well, this is said to be some deeply eroded, somewhat oval-shaped dome which has that 40 kilometers long diameter. Also, it is believed that the sedimentary rock which can be visible to people in this dome ranges in age from late Proterozoic, that is lying at the center of dome, to Ordovician sandstone being used at the edges. Presence of this structure over here brought up so many interpretations by different people and different sources, such as its high degree of circularity made people think that this is the impact of asteroid, which proved out to be wrong later on, and then it was believed to be the cause of some volcanic eruptions, which was later declined as there was not any kind of presence of ingenious or volcanic rocks in this dome. Now, it is believed to be that highly symmetrical dome of ancient times, which collapsed with time, maybe due to some natural tragedy, and on the other hand, many people take it as a raised rock which is carved by erosion. Though its perfect structure of being equidistant in rings makes people think on how it can be made possible by some collapse or erosion, so this is basically now a mystery on where did it came from. There are many other questions which came into light in terms of this dome, as how it can be so much symmetrical, but there is not that perfect answer to this query, thus making it to remain a mystery forever. Basically, this is that interesting point on which one needs to have a deep research and thus get all of the answers out of this mysterious place. Now, moving over to the next mysterious place, here comes up the next addition to the list, and that is Cano Cristels, which is located in the Serrania de la Macarenathat, is also known as the jurisdiction of Meta. This is in fact the Colombian river, which is considered as the branch of Guayabero River, and is known to many people by the name of River of Five Colors, or the Liquid Rainbow. You can actually call it as the most beautiful river of the world, which has those 5 colors, including yellow, green, black, blue, and most importantly, red flowing, with it making river look elegant in its own different way. If you are thinking that this might be the scene of whole complete year, well no, there is just that short span of period when you will get to see this amazing thing happening, and that is in the mid of wet and dry seasons, when water level is just on that perfect leveling and plant species, which one can call as unique and are known by the name of Macarenia clavigera, turns out to be brilliant red in colour, following which there are those marks of yellow and green sand with blue water and thousands of shades dancing in between. Why not in other seasons? During wet season, in Colombia, the water flows in that fast and deep speed which conceals the bottom part of river, and thus due to which the plant Macarenia clavigera is not able to get sunlight, and thus turn up red, no blooming, and nothing. On the other hand, during the dry season of Colombia, there is not that much water in the pool which can get this dazzling view of water in action. So basically, if one actually wants to be here and look at this applaud able beauty, then they should visit here in the months of September through November, as this is the only time when this river turns out to be that beautiful rainbow. Also, for the one who is planning to visit this place, it is said that Cano Cristels is located in an area which is not easily accessible by road, and so one has to take that short trip from the town of La Macarena into the national park named as Serrania de la Macarena, that is the place where Cano Cristels is located. Although there was a time when the site was closed for any of the tourists due to some guerrilla activity in the area, but now it is reopened since 2009, and there are thousands of visitors that come here to have a glance in this beauty of nature, Also, one must know that it is totally not allowed to anyone to stay or cook there for a night. Moving over to the next one in list, here comes Aokigahara, which can also be said as a perfect place to die. Strange, isn't it? Obviously it is. How one can consider a place as that perfect place to die or commit suicide. But the thing is that this is true. Even on the basis of statistics, it has been noticed that every year around 100 people get their life ended up here. Yes, this is really true. In fact, according to the statistics in 2010, around 247 people committed suicide and 54 out of them actually succeeded. And now, this is what made Aokigahara the second most popular place of committing suicide. Now, where is this actually located? Well, this place, which is also known by the name of Suicide Forest and Sea of Trees, is located in the northwest base of Mount Fuji in Japan. Looking over the thing of Sea of Trees, this forest has large number of trees there, which are having those various numbers of signboards saying, "Think about your children, about your family. Please consult the police before you decide to die. Your life is precious gift from your parents." Without any doubt, they are hanged there for making those people coming for suicide learn that life is precious, and it is not at all good to end life like this without even thinking about the family left behind. But most of time, they just fail in making people get distracted from their goal. The most common means of ending up their life used by many people are hanging and drug overdose. It is said that the forest is so much dense that no sound inside the forest can reach outside of this forest. Also, this forest is believed to have those huge underground deposits of iron, which getting interfered with the direction compass make travelers distracted and thus make them lose their path. And now, as it is about death, there are a number of stories that one would get to listen here, like, according to the locals of that place, this forest is being linked with death since 19th century, as per the Yubasute named custom, which was very much common in this place of Japan. What is Yubasute? Well, according to this custom, people in Japan used to carry their elderly relative to some local mountain or forest and then leave them to survive and die. So basically, according to them, the forest is haunted by those angry spirits who were left here to die by their family members, and even it is also said that the trees there are filled up with evil energies. That is the basic impact of all those suicides earlier. A part of these, there are also some of the other beliefs according to which all of those frustrated and depressed people who are looking forward to die are brought at this place in some mysterious ways, or one can say with some supernatural force. In fact, the people who were saved out of this said that they are not there on their own, but are brought with some supernatural force. That is, according to them, someone was forcing them to come here and end their life. In 1960, there was one novel named as Kuroi Kaiju, published by Seicho Matsumoto, which is believed to be that starting point for all this, as in this novel, there are two major characters who commit suicide at this same forest. There are many of the bodies found by people who maintain this forest, and been cleaned, as according to them, if not cleaned, they come as that horror part of story. Next in the list is the Eternal Flame Falls, i.e. a small waterfall located in Chalet Creek Preserve in western New York. Well, obviously, it is not common to see fire burning where there is only water you can see flowing at every other end of waterfall, and so was the case with this one. There was a time when this was considered as that major attraction in the region, which made many of the media people and tourists to visit the place at least once, so as to look upon what this miracle actually is. Through there were also some of the negative impacts at this site due to large number of visits that were only seemed to be increasing day by day, and with these visitors there was also that proper increment seen in pollution and vandalism, which was not at all good for the place. What is the actual reason behind this flame? According to many of the geologists from Indiana University and National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology who studied this thing of the eternal flame falls in 2013 to find out the mystery behind this flame, it is believed that there are some of the gases that are the only major reason behind all these happenings. What they found was that there is that macro seep at this eternal fall had that great amount of ethane and propane in it as compared to any other natural gas, as they contain that high concentration of methane in them. Along with that, there are also some of the micro seeps found in this area of falls. Now, looking over all of those mysterious places and moving over to the conclusion, the only thing that one can say is there is so much on this earth still left to have an eye on and feel great and amazed about how these mysteries are just living with us all over. Maybe this is not the end. Maybe there is still so much left to look upon, to feel good about while listening and to read about. Isn't this amazing about how these mysteries are surrounding us while we live in our houses, and how this earth is holding these secrets deep inside it?